ladies, how are you? Six figures. It's everywhere. I'm even talking about it. It is everywhere. It is a milestone that most people want to be able to get to in business. And the struggle to get there is insane. I know because I've struggled to get there. But here's what I found. You know the way people talk online about how like you need to be yourself and you need to show up as yourself and do stuff that's in alignment with you. That is actually very true when it comes to hitting the six figures. Only sometimes we don't always know what that means because there's so much noise out there. There's so many different strategies. There's so many ways to do it. So, how do you know what works for you? So, that's what we're going to talk about today. Because for me personally, the idea of hitting consistent 10K months felt so stressful. Like, I can't even explain how stressful it felt. I couldn't see how that would happen because I you would have I felt I would have to hustle very hard every single solitary month to get sales. And I just felt I would have to be on all the time, which is horrendous energy to be in and defeats the whole purpose of starting a business. So when I was in that energy, I wasn't creating 10K months. Not a hope was I creating 10K months. And I'm talking about sales or cash. Not happening. And here's also another fun thing. You don't need 10K months to hit your six figures. You need just over 8,000 a month to be hitting six figures. There's also multiple other ways of doing it, which is what I want to share with you today. So if six figures is where you want to go and you have some clients, you have maybe you've got consistent clients, maybe you are like you're at the high end of the five figures and you just can't figure out how to make that jump. I'm going to share how I have done it so that you can see whether or not this is what works in alignment for you. So let's break down, first of all, what is working in alignment. You've got to figure out what feels good. You're going to be stretched when you're building a business. So, if you think you're going to be comfortable, cross that off. Just cross it off. It's not going to happen. You are going to be stretched. You're going to have your mind pushed in ways that it hasn't been pushed before, and self doubt is going to kick in. So don't for 1 second think that there's going to be no self doubt. There is going to be regular self doubt because you're pushing out beyond whatever you wanted to do. People will be asking you questions from a loving place, but it makes you feel like you're under pressure. But really, the only person that's putting yourself under pressure is you. So I'm just going to share my story around the whole six figures. So like I would see it online, hit your consistent 10K months. This is what you need to be doing. It's all about getting the 10K months. Sell, 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 sell. And instantly I was like, yeah, I want my 10K months. But then I was like, no, actually, I feel physically sick at the thought of selling every month. The aggression in that is exactly why I wanted to leave my corporate job in the first place. I didn't like that level of aggression. So it got me curious, going, okay, I don't want to do that. I do not want to do that. I do not want to be selling every month. How? How can I do it that I can do it in bulk? Really show up and serve my clients and not be in constant get, sales, 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 get. Here's what I found. There is no right or wrong way to build six figures. None. If I look at all my friends that are six and seven figures, nobody is building it the same way. What is consistent with them is they're very clear on who it is that they're serving. They speak directly to who they are serving consistently. They show up from a place of true generosity, like pure generosity, to provide value, to serve, and their business is never about them. The offers that they make, whether it be like a response to a post, whether it's a connection piece, whether it's sending a message, if it's doing events, whatever it is, the sole entire focus and purpose on that is to support their ideal client getting from A to B. Now, whether or not the ideal client gets from A to B is completely up to the individual themselves, but that's the pattern. So how can you replicate that to be six figures in your business? It's a good question, isn't it? So here's how I did it. I do not sell every month. Like I said, that just felt so aggressive to me. Does that mean my model won't change in the future? Possibly will. I don't know. But right now, I do not sell every month. I may have events on every month, but they're not always selling. See the difference? So I love showing up and talking to people. I just love it. I could do it all day long. I love it. I'm in my happy place when I'm sharing information with people and saying, this is how you can do this. This is what you need to do, and helping people work around it. Absolutely love it. It is one of my most favorite things to be able to do. And it's from knowing that that is something that I absolutely love, allowed me to actually generate offers that sell. I'm sharing this with you to show you the mentality and the logical process that worked for me around this. So, because I am delighted to show up consistently in whatever way it looks, if something comes to my mind, I'll share it. Sometimes there's a lot of things that come to my mind. I'm not going to bombard you all at once, so I'll break it down into different pieces of content. But there'll always be a theme, and the theme comes from what I can see, what I can hear people talking about, what people are telling me that they need. So ask yourself this in your industry: what is it that you are constantly seeing people needing? What do they need? Not what do you think they need, what are they actually telling you they need? I'm talking about six figures at the moment because people are cash poor. In their mind, they're cash poor. They're not. I can see that people are hustling and hustling and hustling and hustling and hustling to make sales, but nothing is actually converting. I can see that the mind is solely focused on, generating that higher level income, but the behind it is missing. So that is why I'm speaking about six figures so much at the moment, and speaking really honestly about it, because that's that's what's out there. That's what people are saying that they want. So you get to speak into that. So how then do you figure out? So when you figure out what it is that is needed, people are actually telling you that they need right now. How then do you get that to convert into your six-figure business year? So this is where the struggle changes from five figures to six figures. It's completely different, because at five figures, you're focused on the tasks. Everything is about what can I do, what can I do, what can I do? Whereas with six figures, it's like, how do I get people to where they want to be? What is it that I have inside of me that will get them there? What can I share with people that will get them to where they want to be? So you start showing up very differently. Because before then, in the five figures, it's like, well, how do I get money? How do I get sales? Whereas when you're in the six figures, it's how do I show up? How do I serve people? How do I give them value that's actually going to land with them, that's going to get them from A to B? And you might be like, well, I'm doing that anyway, but the results are going to show differently. So here is a fun thing to do, and I'm going to break down the different ways that you can generate six figures in your business, because there isn't just the one way. If you want to go into a sales cycle every month, brilliant, do that, go for it. And the order in which you would do it is, because you would want to go into a launch, is you build your audience, you message out what it is that you're going to be literally launching, then you go into your event, and then you sell, and then you go into a closed cart phase, in a nutshell. How can you do that on a different scale that doesn't warrant you doing that every single solitary month if you don't want to be selling every month? Some people love it, absolutely love it. Like I said, I personally don't, but I will do events consistently because I love them. If there's anything that involves teaching and imparting wisdom and, supporting people to get from A to B, I'm all about that, all about that. So other ways that you can do it is have a look and see what your price point is for your product. You don't always have to increase your price, by the way, but your price needs to hit in the market that you're in. So, like, for example, when I see coaches that are, say, they may have a 3-month program and they're only like charging a couple of €100 for it, but that is their sole breadwinning program. That doesn't make any sense, and I'll tell you why. Because whatever the value or transformation is that you are trying to give to somebody, you've got to make sure that the people that are coming into it are quality. And what I mean by that is that they're actually going to do the work. Because if somebody's not going to do the work, it's going to be a huge amount of effort for you. You're going to see very little return, and you are going to feel drained, and you're going to start to resent your business. So your pricing has got to match what your basically your deliverables are on your program, service, product, whatever it is. Now, having said that, you can have multiple tiers of that. Multiple tiers. So within my business, I technically have 4 tiers, but say from a program point of view, I have 3 tiers. So you've got like essentially your entry level, like your medium level, and then your full on high level that's got that's a full year long. which is my flagship program. Then obviously I've got my one-on-ones as well, which is completely different again, which is a completely different price point. But I'm sharing that with you because what are you launching into when you're selling? What is your focus? So like when you're clear on what your messaging is, right, and who it is that you're serving, the people in front of you will tell you what they need. Your offer can be carved. So your offer is not your service. Your offer is your lead in. So it's how you transition people in to your service, your product, whatever it is. It's your transition in. That's what your offer is. It's basically the packaging. So how are you packaging it? And that will change depending on who is in front of you, which is why you can have different tiers. So let's go back to this. How, if 10K months feel yucky, which they did for me, feel yucky, how are alternative ways that you can do it? You completely break it down, right? Like I said, look at your price point. Another one is how often do you want to actually sell? My sales go in 4 cycles. That's what I do, 4 cycles. 4. Some sales cycles might be longer, some might be shorter, because I'll have times where I'll do what I call push months. So I could be in selling and audience build at the same time, which is what I will be this month and next month. But what way is it going to be for you? Let me tell you something. When you actually launch and you launch properly, so what I mean by that is that you don't just go, okay, I think I'm going to sell today, and then you get frustrated when people don't turn up, but you actually go into a sequence of, you're building people up, you're building people up, you're building people up. Then you bring them in to like a masterclass, a workshop, challenge, whatever it is, and then you launch your offer. You've been building momentum for a while. Therefore, the volume of what you sell at the end is much more. It's much more. So imagine if you could have 30K launches. 30K launches. So you break that down. That'll be essentially 3 months, right? 3 months of 10K. Think differently about how you can generate your 6 figures. It does not have to be that you're selling every single solitary month. Another way can be is like what my model is, which is the ascension model, which is that you have like a lower ticket item that you then offer, which is like a little snippet, like a little snapshot into it, and it obviously gives people value and gives people transformation, and then you upsell them, and then you upsell them. A lot of models are done on that. Like even if you think no matter what you buy online, what do you always upsell into? Like even chefs, right? Like even chefs, you watch them on the telly. That's the free bit, right? Then you may go buy their book. Then you could end up going to their restaurant. So there's always upselling going on. So have a look at how you can do it differently. Because let me tell you now, right? If for example you have, I don't know, let's say a 5K program, right? And that's your flagship program. You could have a lower offer then, that's like 1,500, and then you could have a lower offer again of like 750 or something like that. But if you move people in through that, it's less selling and less effort for you to be able to do it, but you're providing value. Because you remember, you always got to meet people where they're at. So where's your ideal client at? Is there different levels of where they're at? Possibly, the levels will be like minute in difference, possibly. But if going after consistent 10K months feels so draining, so impossible, like just never going to happen, and you're like, I'm not willing to do the work, then have a look at other alternatives. Building a business, you don't need money to build a business, but to scale a business you do. So building a business is also just about putting yourself out there, getting your clients in, and having conversion, but you need cash in the door to be able to scale it. So 6 figures is where everybody wants to be aiming to and beyond, unless you just want a side hustle, and that's completely different. But if it's a business that you're truly building, and that this is going to be your sole income, and that you are here, for the long-term game, then you've got to be aiming for the 6 figures. And if you're not, then what kind of a business is it that you want to be able to build? It's not going to run without money being put into it, because you need money to be able to sustain it. So 6 figures is definitely where you've got to be aiming to be. But this is food for thought for you to go, okay, what are the alternative ways that I can do it? Because if your way isn't working right now, look at an alternative. Like if you've been doing this for a year, maybe a year and a half, and you have a client here and there, but there's no consistency with it, step back and look at, go, okay, what energy am I putting into it? What is my attitude towards what I'm doing right now? And this is what I had to do. I had to look at my attitude, and I was like, my attitude is actually very shitty towards sales because I don't want to be selling every month. Okay, so what can I do with that? What is another way that I can look at this? I'm like, okay, do I have to sell every month? No. Why do I feel I have to sell every month? So when you go into it like that, you will find what's aligned with you and what feels good. And this is where launching comes in. I freaking love launching. Oh my god! I'm anytime I make an offer, I know it converts because my energy in it is completely different. This is why I have created the 2-day training next week on stepping into being the six-figure businesswoman that you know you are, because it isn't the strategy, it's how you think about things that actually makes such a big difference. So if you haven't signed up for it yet, make sure that you do, because yes, it's been held in this group. However, there is lots of nuggets that are being given to you in advance of that, and tools that you can use to start generating your six figures and get you thinking like a six-figure businesswoman. So I'm going to put the link here for you to be able to join, and I will see you soon.